Good afternoon, Ravens, and welcome back to another episode of ONW Now. I'm Brian Gonzaga.
And I'm Rosie Boswell. This week, we highlight our Japanese exchange students and their time here at our school,
plus a feature on its local psychic fair,
as well as a student's opinion on the 7:50 a.m. start. Let's get started.
As many of you have noticed, ONW has hosted numerous Japanese exchange students this week. Let's take it to Rachel Hyde and Rosie Boswell for the inside scoop.
はじめまして、私の名前は須藤琴美です。群馬県の前橋市から来ました。
僕の名前は入澤秀樹です。日本の群馬の前橋市から来ました。
This past week, ONW welcomed exchange students from our sister school in Japan.
I am interested in American culture.
To visit my sister school and experience American culture.
While in America, the students have faced some difficulties and noticed differences in the cultures.
Speaking English very early. Speed early.
家族がいないことが一番辛いです。Food size is big.
The trip has benefited both the exchange students and the host families.
Everything is really big. Like your house is big, like the food is bigger, like everything is big and it's really different. So you just need to give the people like time to adjust to that, stuff like that.
Really anticipate what's going to happen. Like every country has a different culture, and like instead of you just always teaching them all the time, you're going to learn a lot from them just by watching them, and they might not even know it.
Despite these differences, the exchange students have a good outlook on American students.
Kansas people is kind.
There is very friendly. の人は自分の思ったことをはっきり言えるのがいいと思います。
なんか友達同士がすごいフレンドリーで、なんかここの人は手を合わせたり、なんかジョークだけでもすごい笑えてるのがすごいなって思う。
For ONW Now, this has been Rosie Boswell.
Make sure to check out theRavenDaily.com for more on their visit to good old Kansas.
Last Wednesday, our very own student naturalist class held their very first animal talks for the kids of Meadow Lane Elementary. Let's take it to Brian Gonzaga to get a closer look.
From 100-pound snakes to furry potato-like animals, the kids from Meadow Lane Elementary traveled to ONW for our animal talks from our very own student nat class.
So tell me, Mr. Young, what is this animal talk about?
This is an opportunity for us to engage the elementary kids, sort of support, enrich their curriculum, and allow our high school students who have worked really hard to understand their animals to demonstrate their level of comfort and understanding to kids who will become future Ravens.
So what's this whole purpose of you guys bringing the kids from Meadow Lane to these animals?
I think it's kind of a dual purpose. One, they get to see a program that they could be part of when they get to high school, and it goes along with what we're studying, and good mix for kids on your end and ours.
Well, it kind of generates a high level of excitement for coming to high school, as well as hopefully the student nat program. We have so many animals in the back room that, for example, behind me is our 14-foot snake. We also happen to have a 10-foot snake that looks just like her. The alligator is one of a kind, so we'll bring him out pretty consistently. But amongst the other animals, we have a variety. We have more than one, and a variety of the way they look and colors, so that way we can make sure the animals don't stress out too much.
Why is this one so different from any other ones?
Well, this is vastly different because in that the students went to the elementary school and they could only take about 4 or 5 animals with them, which kind of limited the exposure these kids have, whereas now we have the opportunity to bring out 30 animals
Anything you want to say to like the high school kids that are watching?
You know, mostly thank you. They are being such a good role model for our kids and such an opportunity that they'll take their time to let us come over, so thanks.
ONW Spring Play, The Miracle Worker, opens this weekend on Friday night at 7 p.m. in the auditorium. It follows the story of Anne Sullivan as she embarks on the task of teaching a blind and deaf student, famously known as Helen Keller.
It's really challenging to play Helen Keller because she has no lines, and so I have to really read through the script a ton to know every single other character's lines, so I know what motions to do. Well, this definitely is the favorite role I've played so far, just because it's such a big personality. Helen Keller had a lot of emotions and didn't really have an outlet, so it's just really crazy and energetic to play her. Plus, I love, acting with Rachel Cianetti, who plays her teacher, because she's so talented. And yeah, it's a crazy play.
Don't miss this heartfelt performance.
Have you ever wanted to get your own personal reading with a psychic? Last weekend, Addison Smith and Sarah Miguel headed to Overland Park to check out a psychic fair. Let's see what their future holds.
This past weekend was the KC Metaphysical Fair. At the fair, there were several vendors offering readings, advice, and spiritual guidance. Many booths were set up to sell products associated with spirituality and good energy. This annual event happens every spring, and several community members have made this psychic fair a tradition.
Basically, it's for anybody kind of searching spiritually. There's a lot of different kinds of readers, so people, if they're interested in getting in contact with people who've crossed over, any kind of metaphysical stuff, so a lot of spiritual aspects. We have people that are quote unquote New Age, people that are Wiccan, people that are Buddhist. So it brings a lot of different spiritualities together.
While the idea of psychics and readings can be very controversial, many of the attendees believe that learning about these ideas can be very eye-opening.
I recommend people of all ages to come visit the psychic fair or see a psychic or really just look into spirituality in general. No matter what your religion is or what you believe in, whether you believe in psychics, believe in magic in general.
If you are interested in getting your own reading, there are several local psychics you can go and see. For Sarah Miguel, this has been Addison Smith.
Now let's toss it over to Haley with an update on all things Raven Athletics.
Hey Ravens, I'm Haley McCormick and welcome to today's Game Day Northwest. Spring sports are in full swing with lots going on. Last night our baseball team battled Missouri powerhouse Rockers. Unfortunately, Rockers jumped to an early lead after a double in the gap scored after a ball dropped into right field. From there, the game was all Rockers. The Ravens only had 2 hits on the night and failed to put a run on the board. The boys fell to Rockers for their first loss of the year, losing 8-0. The baseball team will play Olathe West at Seaback at 4 on Saturday. Make sure you're there. Swim and Dive made a splash yesterday at their varsity triangular meet at Mission Trail Middle School. The team took first overall, beating Shawnee Mission North, Mill Valley, and our arch enemy, Olathe West. Jaden Brandstrom and Abby King finished first and second in the 100 fly. Brooke Elam took first in diving, and Van Opthorpe, Shanklin, and Staten finished first, second, and third in the 500 free. Congrats, ladies. Tuesday night, the girls' soccer team faced off against Blue Valley High Tigers. The first half didn't go the girls' way as the Tigers scored 2 goals right off the bat. The Ravens finally picked it up with Avery Wynn's goal from a corner. ONW went into half down 3-1 since the Tigers also got a penalty kick. In the second half, the girls played a lot tougher but still allowed 1 goal. The Ravens couldn't recover and dropped the game 4-1. Tough loss for the Ravens, but make sure to watch them play tonight at Seaback. The golf team opened up play on Monday at Lake Quivira. The Ravens started out the season strong, taking third as a team with a score of 315. ONW was led by senior Cole Ferris with a 76. The boys are back in action today at Deer Creek. Your ONW softball team squared off against Lauren Free State Monday afternoon in their season opener. With no score until the 4th inning, the Firebirds put up 3 off a home run and then 1 more in the 6th. Lauren Biggs hit a double down the left field line in the 5th and eventually put one up for the Ravens. It wasn't enough, however, and they fell short in the end, losing 4-1. The girls play Olathe South this Friday at Seaback at 4:15. Last Friday, our Ravens track team competed against Olathe West, Olathe East, Olathe South, and Blue Valley North. On the boys' side, Andrew Tracy and Cole Morris placed first and second in the 800, and our 4x400 team of Tracy, Morris, Beard, and George finished first. Craig Herman tied for first place in pole vault, and Connor Boyd won the discus and shot put with a school record throw of 51 feet and 11 inches. Both the girls and boys won the 4x800 relay. The girls represented ONW as well, with Maddie Ryder winning high jump and long jump, and Jaleesa McWashington winning the triple jump. The Ravens will compete against this Friday in the Blue Valley Invitational at Blue Valley. That's it for sports. Now back to Rosie and Brian.
Our final story, Make Olathe Schools 8 again, is a student opinion piece and does not reflect the views of the Raven Daily as a whole. Without further ado, let's send it to Brogan Kivett for the story.
Monday, March 18th, that is the day Olathe Schools made the cruel and inhumane decision to make students leave the warmth of their beds and arrive to school at 7:50 a.m. rather than the standard 8 a.m. After 16 years of this school starting at 8 a.m., I personally am furious with this change and I really don't want to let it happen. So I decided to go to the student body to hear their opinions on it.
What are your thoughts on the new school time change?
It should start at 8 because I'm still in my bed at 7:50 normally, and this is extremely detrimental to the student body.
Extremely.
It's complete bogus, man. Well, I'm gonna be honest with you, it's kind of whack.
It's terrible.
Oh, it's actually horrible.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna be late every day. It's horrible.
It sucks. It really does.
It's a little bit more stressful.
After seeing other students were just as mad about the change to 7:50 as I was, I knew things had to go back to the way they were. So I decided to take matters into my own hands and start a petition to get it back to 8 o'clock.
I have a petition I want to talk to you about. So you remember the good old days of when school would start at 8 o'clock? Yeah, don't you miss that?
I really do. I don't know why they messed it up like this.
With a whopping 423 signatures, the student body has spoken, Olathe Schools. Now I leave it up to you to determine what happens next. For ONW Now, this has been Brogan Kivett. Now back to the desk.
As you may have noticed, we are filming in our brand new set gifted to us from KMBC Channel 9 News. Stay tuned to upcoming episodes as we unveil new changes in the name of our studio.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of ONW Now. Next week, we'll take a look at the scheduled Student Professional Day, the Health and Fitness Expo, and much more. And remember to check out our Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube channel at ONW Raven Daily. And be sure to check out our brand new website, theravendaily.com, for all your school news. For Rosie Boswell and Landon Daniel, this has been Brian Gonzaga. We'll see you next week, Ravens.